Hi everyone, I'm here today with my TBR for the TimehopAthon. And this is a readathon which is going to be running from the 20th to the 26th of February. And normally, you may have noticed, I don't really take part in many readathons, but I thought I'd give this one a go because I'm actually going to be off work for most of that time. And so, why not use it as a chance to really jump into some books that maybe I wouldn't have picked up this week otherwise. So there are 5 reading challenges in this readathon, and I think it's been quite relaxed. You don't really have to sort of worry about them too much, but all the same, I have some books picked out, so I may not get to all of these books, but all the same, I at least have them as options. So the first challenge is to read a classic, and for this one, I might read Emma by Jane Austen. And I say the word might because I really want to get to more classics this year, which is why I've picked one that I definitely really hope to fly through. But at the same time, I've got a heck of a lot of other books that I am more desperate to get to than most classics right now. But all the same, I picked one that I thought is of reasonable length because a lot of the ones that I'm really desperate to get to are the great big thick things, and that's just not a good idea with a readathon. And meanwhile, Jane Austen is one of my faves, so I thought, why not go for another Jane Austen? I've never read Emma, so I feel like this is a great place to go because I've already read Pride and Prejudice and loved it. I've read Northanger Abbey, so I feel like this is the next obvious choice for me. Challenge 2 is to read a childhood recommendation. Now, I'm actually going to be rereading a book for this one. I'm going to go for Aoife's recommendation of The Magic Faraway Tree, which is by Enid Blyton. I'm really excited to reread this yet again. I reread all 3 of these last year on audiobook, and they were the first times I'd listened to them for years and years and years. And so I want to read this. It's the second book, The Magic Faraway Tree. I want to reread this again for that challenge because I've not read it in physical form since I was a child, and this book is so battered and beaten. You don't get much more childhood favourite for me than something by Enid Blyton. The third challenge is to read a book that was released in 2016, and I am going to read Geminate by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman for this one. This was obviously a very hyped up release last year. I read Illuminae last year, loved it, recently purchased this one and thought, what perfect timing. And this one is a super good choice for me because this one also ties into challenge 4 for me, which is to read a dystopian or a book set in the future. And this is set in the future, so I feel like this is just like 2 challenges in one. I am so winning with this book. Challenge 5 is to read a historical fiction, and I'm a little bit torn on this one. I've got a few different options. So one of the ones I might pick up is The Interpretation of Murder by Jed Rubenfeld. And the reason why I'm unsure about picking this one up or not is simply because it is quite long and it feels a bit silly picking up such a long book for a readathon when I know I just won't get through it. 529 pages, so I'm not too sure whether I should go for this one or not. The last thing I need is another thick book that takes me forever to get through because I started during a readathon and then never finish it. So one that I might read instead is The Piano Tuner by Daniel Mason. The problem with this one is, while it is shorter at 300 and something pages, the font is significantly smaller, and so I might actually find that I'm reading more words than the previous book just because of font size alone, because the font was relatively large in the other book. Alternatively, if I don't go for either of those 2, I might read Salt to the Sea by Ruta Sepetys. I've not read that yet, and that is an obvious one that I might go for. Alternatively, I could pick up The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak because I've still not read that either, and I do own both these books, so it's kind of silly that I've not read them. I basically need to sort of look at page count versus font size for all these books, although these 2 are both on my Kindle, so that's a bit of a problem, but definitely look at page counts and work out what I'm going to be best reading for my time. Alternatively, I've got so many historical fictions on my TBR. I own loads of Philippa Gregory books on my Kindle. I've got so many different options for this and I'm just not sure where I'm going to go with it. So if you want to recommend a historical fiction to me down below, I probably own it. But if you recommend one to me all the same, you can sort of help pick what I'm going to read. You have until Monday before I'm even going to consider picking it up, so feel free, even if you're watching this over the weekend sometime, to drop me a recommendation. I would really appreciate your help. It almost made me wish that I wasn't reading the book I'm currently reading because that would have been a perfect choice, but I'll probably finish that by tonight or tomorrow, so that's definitely no good. So yeah, Thank you so much for watching this TBR. If you are also taking part in the readathon and I've done a TBR video, then drop me a comment down below and I will gladly go and watch it and compare what we're reading and maybe get some historical fiction ideas from you. Yeah. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more book reviews and other bookish content from me, and I will see you on Sunday, hopefully, with a book haul. Bye bye!